In this video, I want to go over why Andy and I typically suggest that you have one singular big focus at a time, a massive fuck off self-improvement goal that you're chasing. And if you instead are feeling like, no, I want to do all of these things at once. There are so many goals I want to achieve. Why can't I do all of them at once? We're going to tell you to sit down and listen to us, or just me on this occasion, and Andy's not here, while we explain why we don't recommend that. We recommend that you at least, if you're going to have multiple goals at once, you know what your priority focus is. And if you have a priority focus, you will prioritize it and you will make it top of your list when it comes to allocating your time, your energy, your resources. I am going to show you with state-of-the-art digital visual assets why we think having one singular focus is the way forward, is the way to go. So hold on to your pants. You're about to be blown away by this. So here is the beginning of a pie chart. It is your time awake and your energy. This is at the end of the day, self-improvement largely comes down to how do you allocate your waking time and the energy that you have into taking successful actions and repeating them towards certain goals. So this is your overall pie chart, all of the time and energy that you have. You then have about 20% goes towards what I call general life stuff, which includes, traveling to places, paying your taxes, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean, man? Like, honestly, cooking food is a big one. Waking up in the morning, I would certainly put exercise into this maybe, but I'll talk about that later on, how that moves into other areas too. So yeah, just assume that you have 20% taken away for this stuff and you have about 80%. And this is being generous. Some people have very disorganized lives where this general life stuff could be a lot bigger than 20%. But I'm being generous in this situation and suggesting that you have 80% of your waking time energy to put towards self-development and goals. So let's say you wanted to do a big goal. Let's say you're a hot-blooded male or a hot-blooded female and you want to put 80% of your time towards your dating goals. This is a good split here. 20% of general life, 80% dating. But you're there, you're thinking about your dating life and you agree that I want to fix that. I want to have a great sex life. I want to have a great relationship. But I also hate my job. I also don't like working for my boss. And I think I want to be free from that. And I want to start a business. So you add in business. And now you've taken that 80% that you have and you divided it in two. So now you have 40% of your time and energy on dating, 40% of your time and energy on business. I am of course assuming an even split here just for the sake of showing a visual. But yeah, it could be very much like you spend way more time on one than the other. But they are both nagging thoughts in your mind when it comes to goals you have set. You haven't got a priority. You've just got two split desires between having a great sex life and relationship life and having a great money and financial life, building your own business, becoming the next Elon or Jeff Bezos. Now say that you are struggling a little bit in the dating market and you think the reason for this might be my physique. Maybe I'm not skinny enough. Maybe I'm not slim enough. Maybe I don't have enough muscle. So you think, fuck it. I'm going to add 20% of my time is going to go towards the gym and building a great physique. Now we have, and again, assuming an even split, 30% dating, 30% business, 20% now of your time and energy on your physique. Food prep, counting calories, going to the gym 4 times to 5 times a week, all of that stuff. And you see, we are splitting more and more of this big ass pie that we had. And say now that you're getting massive shiny object syndrome. You've been going fairly well, splitting your time between all these goals. But now you recognize that you always had this dream when you were like 5 years old. You wanted to learn how to fly and be a pilot. So now you add in 20% of your time towards learning to fly. I thought of this because one of our coaches in our coaching program is actually a licensed pilot. So I just thought I'd add this one in here. So now we have a complete split between all of the things you're working on, dating, physique, business, and learning to become a pilot. As you can see, you're now putting 20% towards all of these goals. They're all perfectly valid and reasonable goals to be chasing, but you haven't really assigned much in the way of energy and time to all of them. And this is what it looks like when someone is trying to do every fucking thing at once. They have shiny object syndrome, but they can't let go of things. They can't have singular focus. They're just dragged in all these different directions. I think this is the majority of like people, to be honest, is they are unaware of how much better it would be if they would just have singular focus and go all the way back to that original pie chart, which was 80% on one thing, which I think is generally how anyone we've seen massively improve. They spent a decent amount of time with more of this sort of pie chart right here. It is largely out of pride, and if I'm being less charitable, just arrogance, to assume that you can do everything to a high level at once. How could, say, the 30% effort you were putting towards in one of those split pie charts outstrip some other guy's 80% singular focus effort? It can't. It can't really. And the truth is, you're going to get to things faster. You're going to achieve goals faster with that higher percentage of energy and time and focus. And that will get you to a feeling of accomplishment and momentum and understanding that you can achieve these things faster if you focus primarily on one goal at a time. And as we said, we do allow a little leeway, but we would rather you had a priority focus, and that would be the way forward. To be fair, I don't follow this advice perfectly, neither does Andy, neither do any of our coaches, except actually, no, one of our coaches in particular is actually very good at basically upending everything in his life towards one particular goal. And he's been very consistent on that goal. I mean, it's Ed, I'm talking about Ed, who has been very consistent over the last few years with focusing heavily on his dating life and getting what he wants. I think I have too recently as well. I've been getting better at it. But there have been times that I have, slipped up and found myself spinning too many plates at once. I thought I'd talk about some of those examples that I've encountered even recently to show you this is kind of like an ongoing struggle and something you've got to show like discipline and self-awareness of when you're starting to like juggle too much at once. So a good example from this year was my attempt to go back out and do a dating run while I was focusing heavily on my business. And I have for the last 3 years now been focusing entirely on make money business, helping Andy with his business. I've got a few projects that I work on my own side of things as well. And beginning of this year, I thought, I haven't really got a lot going on except for one girl I've been seeing. And I meant to be, I'm doing ethical non-monogamy, so I could just go out and date loads of girls. At that time though, I was going so hard with the business stuff that I was fucking exhausted. And I would be on dates tired. And not just tired, but distracted and tired. So I wasn't present. Like I had a string of these dates where I just wasn't present at all. And so that's the thing about those pie charts I showed you, that you could just, partition everything. But no, like some of these things will spill over, when you have two things going on at once. Say I have business and dating going on at once. If I'm pouring so much into the business, but I still try and go out and do the dating, the amount of time and energy that I put into the business is going to spill over and I'm going to be super fucking tired. And as I was. And I think it cost me like a few like fairly chill, cool girls because I just wasn't, present with them. I wasn't giving them my energy and attention. They may have presumed it was disinterest on my part, or I didn't seem that interesting because, my conversation was very one note. There was one date in particular where I got there and about 5 minutes in, actually to be fair, immediately as I sat down, I was like, I have nothing. Like I have nothing to give here. And I got very, very honest with her about it. I said, I'm going to be real with you. I've been working super hard today. I really, really feel tired. And I'm sorry if I come across in that way. And I actually cut the date short at about half an hour after we only had one drink. And she was super cool with it. Fortunately, I'm still seeing that girl. We started seeing each other about 6 months ago. She's awesome. Really thankful that I just, was like, hey, I don't have anything to give you here. Like I have put too much into my business today. And it's a struggle for me to actually, be here and be super present with you. She was understanding. We saw each other again. She gave me another chance. Amazing. Now I figured out a better way of doing dating. So nowadays I do cruise and blast, which I've talked about in a previous video, where I will date really hardcore for a short amount of time. So I'll clear up some schedule and then go really hard with dating. So I'm switching my focus from business to a temporary heavy focus on dating. And once from that temporary blast, I will be seeing enough girls where I'll be able to build up, to like seeing 3 girls at once, and I'll be able to retain those girls and just plow on forward in an ethically non-monogamous manner, just seeing 3 girls for a sustained period of time. And if any of those girls drop off, say I go down to only seeing 1 girl, I can just go on another blast, clear up my schedule again and refocus priority. That's how you can juggle the singular focus around, just reshuffling where the priority focus is and just doing it for different stretches of time. Another good example I had of trying to do everything at once fucking me was very recently. So I had decided to go super hardcore on a cutting phase. And we often say, and Andy and I have often told people, that you can do your fitness and physique stuff as an accessory to everything else. I did put it in the pie charts and I said it as a focus because you can focus really hard on the gym and physique and that will show benefits. I actually would mostly tell guys, if we've grabbed you, Mr. You in the audience and girls, and you're young and you don't have a lot of time commitments, so say you're at college or you've got like a 9 to 5 that's pretty easy, focus on your physique phase then. Like get yourself in the gym, doing the hard yards, building your basis of your physique up, because it's harder to build a physique up than it is to like maintain it. So if you're catching this memo when you're younger and you are 10 years ahead of me in terms of, fitness and gym and physique building, you're going to be in a fantastic position because you won't have to worry about, having to go hardcore in the gym for a few years when you're a bit older like I am. So yeah, I would recommend to younger guys, if elite physique is something you want, start now. Get in there, get your basics, get your strength up, get your body fat down, and then go on a slow bulk, do all that stuff. I decided to go and do physique to like try and get it to the highest level I possibly can when I was like 28. And that's when I hired a professional trainer. And so for the last few years, I'm still building the basis of my physique. And the problem with that is that right now, business is my main goal. I need energy. And going into a 1600 calorie limit with daily cardio was kind of a weird moment for me when I'm like at one of my busiest stages of the year. Like I would literally get to about 6 p.m. and just have no fucking energy at all. And like I was meant to be going really hard with business, and I decided to coincide that with a time for a really aggressive cut, which was being managed by my personal trainer. And I told him, it's like, I don't know if I can do daily trips to the gym for cardio. I don't know if I can do 4 to 5 sessions a week. I don't know if I can handle 1600 calories, but I managed to grind through it in the end. It's been a fucking tough last 8 weeks, to be honest. I don't know if I'll do this again ever. So that's just another idea, another point to make about you have to be able to judge, and maybe beginners can't really judge when they're able to juggle a couple of things, because I was able to juggle my physique stuff, like going for the amount of steps I need and, going to the gym 3 times or 4 times a week when it wasn't an aggressive focus like a cut is. But when it is that stage, when it does get extreme, when it does get to the point where you have to show and put real effort into your discipline and what you're doing, then it starts to become a bit of a problem. Then I was actually, instead of having that whole pie chart, it was like cutting that pie chart in like half because the cut just removed a bunch of energy. It also gave me low libido. So like, it affected my relationship and dating life. So just be aware of that. When you drag another focus in, and when you drag something like, bodybuilding in, it may have side effects on the rest of your life that aren't necessarily just time and energy. The final example I want to talk about is the distraction of trying to have your dating life and getting that in check with everything else. I think there's a lot of emotional turmoil that comes with guys when it comes to the dating process, and like going from someone who's inexperienced, who maybe got bulldozed by girls early on, to someone who, has a lot of sex, has an abundant dating life. There's a lot of like breaking yourself down. There's a lot of mental breakthroughs you got to go through. There's a lot of just generally being distracted, getting really excited about girls only to have them flake or, reject you or whatever. And it's really hard to work on business stuff when you're distracted about a girl. When a girl has like stopped responding or she's taking too long to respond, thinking about like maybe you had some went out to do approaches and you had a really bad approaching session where some girls were really rude to you and you had some stuff that you had to like process, that really fucking gets in the way. Like, we're not talking time and energy there. We're talking like emotional, like your emotional state. Like the effect that dating for inexperienced guys and for guys who are in their first year of trying it out and dating at serious volume, gaining their experience, developing their stoicism to be able to deal with all of that stuff, you're going to have like emotional capacity, which I would have to add a second fucking pie chart and go through. Here is your emotional capacity. Because there's also emotional capacity stuff in business too. Like when people, you know, when you try and sell and people don't take the sale, and when, you know, when you get people like problems in your business that keep you up at night. Am I going to make rent next month? That sort of shit. Am I going to be able to pay people? That sort of shit. So like, yeah, I could probably add a fucking second pie chart of just emotional peace and capacity and your ability to handle things from that front, not just your time and energy. So that's another thing to be aware of. And I think it's specifically heightened when it comes to the dating side of things, when it comes to improving your romantic life. So that's something I would say there, just in case you're thinking of trying to get an abundant sex life at the same time as building a multi-million-dollar business. Both of those things are hard. Becoming elite at any of these things is hard and will probably require a sustained period of singular focus, except for guys who are exceptionally naturally good. I have heard people talk about how, like, when it comes to the main things guys are trying to work on, I will expand this to like girls too. I don't think this video needs to be just aimed at men, but obviously my main experience is being a man and coaching men. So when you look at the things that guys are aiming for, it's often like, you know, it's fitness, financial, and women. And guys apparently, and I've listened to my mentor, one of my mentors, Caleb Jones, talk about this, guys tend to be naturally good at one of those three. And maybe they find the one they're good at really early. They get really good at it. They have a really good physique. They have really natural business ability. They can sell really well or whatever. Or they're good at stuff that makes them money. Or they're just a natural player. And then they assume everything else might be as easy as the thing they're really good at. And then they're going to run into a bit of a wall with the stuff that's not natural to them. So it's interesting to see how guys assume they're going to be able to do everything at once based on how easy they found certain things. And I don't think anyone's natural enough to get elite at any of these things individually, ever. I think every single one of these, when it comes to getting natural, becoming like one of the best guys around, if that's something you're interested in. I know a lot of guys are interested in that. And to some degree, Andy and I am mostly just interested in peace and happiness and having a fulfilling life. That also helps too. But like getting to a level of being so good at these things that they are effortless will require a pain period, will require a period of just grinding through and finding all these small little optimizations and small little things that drag you closer to it becoming really easy. I think you should show humility and understanding that maybe you need a period of singular focus where you put as much of your time and energy towards what you really want. Even if that is flying a plane and you want to put everything to the side to become an excellent pilot, flying through the skies of Alaska. Shout out to Taylor. Now, as ever, I'm going to finish by shouting out the program. I've said enough at the end of these things, how Andy changed my life and he changed the lives of other guys too. You've seen all the interviews on this channel. I believe the coaching group and Andy's coaching is a paradigm shift that a lot of guys are looking for to absolutely gain momentum and impetus in your lives. We've seen enough of it said in the interviews. Guys just suddenly having permission and the knowledge of how to do certain things and the motivation and just being driven by the rest of the guys in the group. And then afterwards you get access to a community where you'll be in there forever, for as long as you want to be, of the guys who have been, you know, coached and conditioned in that way. One of the best decisions I ever made was going to see Andy for coaching. I would implore anyone watching to consider doing the same thing I did. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.